the pills led to a drink, and the drink led to um, that guilt of I can't be in program. So I decided after 12 and a half years to leave all my programs, and I did. And I can't tell you to remember that last binge and that last year of binging my guts out. For me, my disease was centered in bulimia. Well, it was centered in getting stunted at 5 years old when I picked up the food um, because I needed relief. I did not know I had fear. I did not know that I was already disassociating. Disassociation is when, trauma is going on and you start having to um, work around what's going on, which, a lot of people please, but you start putting walls up. And that's what I did early on. Um, and then I started eating at 5. So my history is long with the food. I'm not one of these people that can talk about um, being morbidly obese. That's not my story. But my story is of secrecy, dishonesty, people pleasing, doing everything in my life to look good so nobody would find out how sick I was. And coming from the home I came from, which was very much focused on looking good, being very, very smart, and somehow marrying the right guy and have all those successes that with very liberal Jewish parents growing up in New York. Then we moved to Boston, um, and there was a lot of chaos. My mother was a rageaholic, and she was beautiful, and she was scary. Um, and my father had to deal with 5 women. There were 4 girls, not even 5 years apart. Needless to say, if anybody experiences rageaholic, it's terrifying because you didn't know when the shoe was going to drop. So I ate. And at 5 years old, I learned how to lie because lying is a part of trauma. You lie because you create a false self. I couldn't tell anybody the truth. And so I always blame my twin sister that she picked up the food in the kitchen. I learned how to sneak and I learned how to manipulate. And everything in my life was based around not getting fat, starting diets really early on, but I didn't know how to diet. I had no idea I had an eating disorder. I thought I was a bad girl and I did bad things. Um, and so for me, my history is very much around drugs. Cocaine was my drug of choice. It was also my dieting, for me to diet. I picked up cigarettes. I picked up anything to keep me from getting heavy. And when I went to college, I did gain the first 30 pounds. And that was horrible. And by my senior year, somebody told me about putting my finger down the throat. And that was it for the next 20 years. No one knew. I took off the weight. And bulimia, for anybody, if you're bulimic here, it's about perfectionism. It's about hiding and lying. I could never trust you. And I certainly knew I couldn't trust me. But I learned, how to be a survivor. I had good survival skills. And I'll say every decision because of the food was based on, I made decisions based in 5 seconds. Some people make decisions and it takes them 5 years. 5 seconds. Oh, or get married. I'll get pregnant. I did that. Why? Because I had no idea that I was terrified, I was anxious, I was I was like an adrenaline junkie. I was always going. And I'm not saying I made ridiculous decisions, but in the end, my head was always in a toilet. And You're only as sick as your secrets. Much of my outside world, people had no idea what was going on. I married my first husband young, and then I decided I wanted a divorce. And I had a 3 and a 5-year-old, and I had a lot on my plate. But as long as I didn't gain weight, and as long as I could get my drugs, and as long as I could look like Mother of the Year and being a part of everything, the truth was I was eating, binging, purging. I was meeting drug dealers in very dangerous places in Boston. And I was doing incredible amounts of cocaine while having my own business, pretending everything was okay. Very, very sad to me. It's still very, very hard for me to get down to crying, but I'm working on it slowly. And what does that have to do with food? This is what the food does. I'm a sick addict. And once I get that booze in me, and by the way, I drank like an elephant. I can eat like an elephant in Gray Sheet because I don't know, my bulimia made me I can eat volumes, but I drank and it took a lot for me everything was in quantity for me. Um, and nobody knew my secrets. I had children. I don't know how it worked out that I kind of have amazing kids. I must have done something right, but this disease, I got to tell you something, it's easy to put down cocaine, it was easy to put down the booze, but the food, because the food is primal. The food is what we need. The food is love. The food was safety. The food, the food, the food. And, to admit I got stunted, very stunted. So my time's probably up. So what happened? Also, I was really the addict in my family. And I have to always say, my addiction was about mental illness. It's a mental illness when you're in chaos and you're drugging and eating and binging and purging. And my family was mental illness. I lost my twin sister, killed herself with two, and she had two babies, little kids, a baby. And both of my mother's brothers committed suicide. And I have an older sister. She's not medicated. She's in a hospital. So my survival was drugs, alcohol, and food. I am extremely multi-addiction. I wish I could say I was just a compulsive overeater. That's not my story. I pick up one drug, I pick them all up. And that was 11 and a half, that was 11 years ago next week. Um, and the only thing that's ever worked is this program. It's magical. It's carbohydrate sensitive. It works. And I got the Cambridge Gray Sheet. I still go to Old Cambridge because that's where I got, where I got abstinent. For me, the gift of getting abstinent on my first day coming into Gray Sheet. And I'll just send with 11 years ago, I never want to forget. I had, and this is for anybody who ever thinks about going out, and for those who have long time abstinence know why they don't. They hear people like me that say that I had that gallon of frozen and I put it in the microwave, made it soft, poured a half a bottle of vodka in. I was doing drugs. I was wasted. Mind you, my children had never seen me wasted, my husband, and I was wasted. And I called a gray sheeter in Cambridge. In wasted out of my mind, said, "Oh, I want to come back to Gray Sheet."
Hey,
And
Barbara.
yep,
Barbara, you have 5 more minutes.
thanks, Andrea. And I said to this person, "I want to come back and get abs." And she goes, "Okay, why don't you call in the morning?" And I called in the morning and I stopped binging and purging and drinking and drugging out of my system like I never had it in. So we all have very different bodies. We experience, people have withdrawals. I didn't. It was gone. For me, that is the very deep inner part of me, the deep inner Barbara saying, "You are done. I was in so much agony. And for me, that kind of agony um, got me on my face and I was done. So where does that leave me like, back here? This program works. You work it in the way that works for you. I found what works for me. I do service what works for me. I do not do the people pleasing I used to do because people pleasing was my survival skill. I did it well. I did it well in work. I did it well. And it's a killer. I had no effing idea how I absolutely did not know how to be in intimate relationships. I mean, I have a really nice husband. Just because you meet nice and you marry nice doesn't mean that it's all nice. I am like waking up to realize who the F am I? Swear to God. Oh, by the way, next week I'm 68 years old. I swear to God, I Drama is awesome in the way that you look at your life and say, how did this happen? I'm just opening up and letting down years and years and years of stuff that I had no idea about. And you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to die from feelings. I'm doing the work that I need to do in my way, just like we all get to do the 12 steps. I don't tell anybody do it this way or that way. My God is right here. He's 80 pounds. I kiss him every day, my dog. That's the God of my understanding. Really, the God of my understanding is absolute connection to others that get me. That I can't get any higher than that. Why is it that a bunch of people here that totally get this disease, and for me, my disease is very ugly. I go to very dark places and I do very dark things. Stealing little things from the supermarket. I should be in jail, but I didn't get caught. And, I only could do the best I could at the time. So, what does this have to do with food? I have to weigh and measure. I need to be connected. I have, people say, what do you do for like, I know what my service is. I have sponsees who I love. I love sponsoring. I don't like the computer. I hate this shit. I love video, but I don't like buttons and all that. I don't like texting, but I text. I like connection. And this program is amazing. I need to be connected because I don't care. I've done every drug under the sun, but I'll tell you one thing I know about eating. There's an isolation thing that is very different from uh, that's very different from the other rooms I came from because I was a party girl. It's not fun to party and, be sick I should be dead. But what I want to say is
1 minute,
isolate,
1 minute left.
thanks. Isolation is part of me being, as much as I love being around people and doing stuff, I like being by myself, watching Netflix with my dog, reading a New Yorker, using chopsticks. And I love people, but give me a few hours and I'm the hell out. Anyway, I love you guys. I love my food. I'm a cook in Gray Sheet. I love cooking. I love fresh, delicious, gorgeous food. And yeah, so that's it. Thanks.